In recent days, the story surrounding Vusimuzi cat Matlala has taken yet another unexpected turn. What started as a tense standoff between a man claiming his life was in danger and state authorities insisting on his cooperation has now shifted into something far more complicated. Reports surfacing from different media outlets are suggesting that Vusimuzi cat Matlala may not actually be fearing for his life as much as he initially claimed. Instead, sources indicate that he might be trying to find a way to escape custody entirely, vanishing into thin air just as investigations surrounding him are heating up. This revelation, if true, could completely change the public's perception of him and the motives behind his repeated refusals to cooperate with the authorities. To understand how things reached this point, we need to go back to how Vusimuzi Matlala's name first became known to the public. He wasn't just an ordinary man dragged into the spotlight. He was connected to a complex web of alleged criminal activities, corruption networks, and political connections that many say reach deep into the highest levels of government and law enforcement. Over the past few months, Matlala had become a key witness in several ongoing investigations involving state officials, organized crime, and even members of the security cluster. His testimony was seen as critical in unraveling what some have called one of the largest internal corruption rings in recent South African history. But the closer the investigations got to revealing major players, the more Matlala began claiming that his life was at serious risk. Matlala's insistence that he could not travel in any police vehicles or government transport drew widespread attention. He argued that his enemies were everywhere, that even the people meant to protect him could be compromised, and that powerful figures wanted him silenced before he could speak. At first, many believed him. After all, South Africa has seen numerous cases where whistleblowers were mysteriously killed or disappeared under suspicious circumstances. It seemed entirely plausible that Matlala was simply trying to stay alive long enough to testify safely. But now, new information paints a very different picture. According to reports now emerging from investigative journalists and security insiders, Matlala may have been using these claims of fear and danger as a cover by time and look for an escape route. Law enforcement sources say there have been signs that he was making indirect contact with individuals who could help him disappear, possibly crossing borders under a false identity. Some even claim that there were plans for him to slip away during a transfer between facilities, a common tactic used by fugitives who have insider help. If this turns out to be true, it means that the man once seen as a frightened whistleblower might actually have been orchestrating his own vanishing act from behind bars. Still, the story is far from black and white. There are people who argue that even if Matlala wanted to flee, it does not necessarily mean his fears were unfounded. In their view, a man who has seen the kind of corruption and manipulation within powerful systems might feel trapped no matter where he turns. Maybe he believes that escaping is the only way to save his own life. Not because he is guilty, but because he knows too much. For those who support this line of thinking, Matlala's situation represents the dark reality of what happens when corruption and fear intersect. When someone who holds dangerous information finds himself surrounded by threats, trust becomes impossible. On the other hand, critics say Matlala's behavior in recent weeks has made it harder to defend him. He has refused to cooperate with investigators, turned down all offers of protective custody, and dismissed suggestions of moving him under private security arrangements. Officials now argue that his actions show a clear pattern of avoidance rather than fear. Some point out that genuine whistleblowers typically want their testimonies heard so that justice can be served, while those with something to hide look for ways to delay or divert attention. This argument has gained strength as evidence mounts that Matlala might have been misleading the public from the start. Adding to the tension are the political implications of his case. Several high-ranking officials are reportedly linked to the investigations that hinge on Matlala's potential testimony. If he were to vanish, a large part of the evidence trail could collapse, protecting not only him but also anyone he might have been connected to. Some analysts believe this is exactly why certain figures are quietly relieved at the idea of him disappearing, because it would erase one of the most dangerous witnesses against them. Others say that if he escapes, it will expose the government's inability to secure and protect key witnesses, further damaging public trust in the justice system. Meanwhile, ordinary South Africans are once again left in the middle, trying to make sense of what is true and what is political theater. On social media, the opinions are deeply divided. Some see Matlala as a clever manipulator who played both sides to his advantage. Others still view him as a victim of a broken and corrupt system that has pushed him to the edge. Either way, the story has reignited a national conversation about the safety of witnesses, the credibility of the police, and the extent to which corruption continues to poison the system from within. The real question now is, what happens next? Authorities say investigations are ongoing, but it's unclear how long they can keep Matlala in custody, if he continues refusing to cooperate or if he finds new ways to exploit the system. There's also growing speculation that international agencies might need to step in if there's any chance of keeping him from disappearing. But even if he stays in custody, the damage to his credibility might already be done. When a man once hailed as a truth-teller becomes a subject of suspicion himself, it changes the entire narrative. If Vusimuzi Matlala really does manage to escape, it would raise serious questions about who helped him and why. Was he simply a desperate man running for his life? Or was he part of a much deeper plan to cover tracks and protect certain individuals? These are the questions that journalists and investigators are racing to answer. But one thing is certain. The truth, whatever it is, will have massive consequences for everyone involved. The outcome could either expose the hidden layers of corruption that many have long suspected, or show how easily even the most publicized cases can be twisted into confusion and mistrust. For now, all eyes are on law enforcement and the government's next move. Will they tighten security around him, or will this be another case where the system fails to keep a key figure in place? South Africans are demanding transparency, but history shows that transparency is often the first casualty when powerful people are at risk. The unfolding events around Matlala might end up being one of those defining moments that show whether justice in South Africa can truly rise above politics and corruption, or the cycle of silence and escape continues unchecked. As investigations carry on and more facts begin to emerge, it's important to remember that stories like this are never as simple as they seem. Every claim, every leak, every rumor adds another layer to a case already filled with contradictions. Whether Vusimuzi Cat Matlala is an innocent man trying to survive or a cunning figure plotting his disappearance, the truth will eventually come out, and when it does, it could shake the system to its core. Thank you for watching. What do you think about this unfolding situation? Do you believe Vusimuzi Matlala is genuinely in danger, or is he using fear as a cover to escape justice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions help spark real conversations. And if you want to stay updated on this story and other major developments in South African politics, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload.